Today we're going to be talking about stock photography and its role in the design process. Now, in case you haven't heard that term before, stock photographs are ones that a photographer takes and then makes available on a website and like a big library of photos for you to then download and purchase the rights to use in your project. There are a bunch of pros and cons to using stock photography that we're going to talk about, but first I just want to say a big thank you to GraphicStock for sponsoring this video. They've got the largest library online of stock photos and illustrations and vectors, and they've provided all the images that you see in this video. I got the idea to talk about this when they reached out to me, and I thought it could be something that's really interesting and useful for you to learn about. So with that said, let's get on with my designer's guide to stock photography. Stock photography is popular because it's often much easier and cheaper to find a photo that's suitable on a stock photo website than it is to go about hiring a photographer in a studio and taking the pictures yourself. And that's why a lot of small businesses in particular use stock photo websites, for example. Hopefully you guys know that you can't just use any random photo you find online in your project for copyright reasons, but when you download a photo from a stock photo website, you're purchasing the rights to use it in your project royalty free, and that means that you just pay for it once and you don't have to pay for it each time you use it. On many sites, single images can cost up to like $30 each, which is obviously going to add up fast, but on GraphicStock you just pay a membership fee, which is $99 for the whole year, and then you get unlimited royalty-free downloads of all 300,000 plus images in their library, which is obviously really useful for small businesses. Something to be aware of is that because of the nature of stock photos, anyone can download the same image that you have and use it in their project too, and that's one of the reasons that designers like myself tend to avoid relying heavily on stock imagery, because obviously we want the websites or the brochures or whatever it is we're designing to be unique. So while I wouldn't use a stock photo for, say, the header on a website, for example, there is definitely a time and a place for stock photography, and if you're smart with it, it can really speed up your process. Stock photography is really useful for things that I like to call quick wins. So say you need an image for a blog post or a social media post, and you obviously don't have the time or the budget to go about taking a shoot yourself because it's just a small thing and it needs to be done quickly. Well, that's when you just head on GraphicStock and type in a keyword that relates to the topic of the post, and it'll come up with images that work. Generally, I think that stock imagery should be used to supplement your design. It shouldn't be the focus of it, so I always like to try and customize them a bit with text or graphics. They're also really useful as background imagery to share your typographic designs or lettering, for example, much more interesting than a plain page. And I use stock photos as the background of my podcast artwork because I just need to quickly get an image that gives a sense of the topic, but the logo and the episode number is still the focus of the layout. Let's be honest, stock images can be a bit on the cheesy side. A few years back there was that meme of women laughing alone with salad that was pretty funny, and to promote the Vince Vaughn movie Unfinished Business they made these mock cliche corporate stock images featuring the cast, and they were pretty great. But really what it comes down to is using stock images is all about choosing the right photo for your project. So when you're trying to choose a stock photo, use your design eye to pick out a photo that is well composed and is going to fit well within your project, allow enough room to put any text or whatever that you need to on top of it. I tend to avoid using stock photos of people's faces because, like I said, I want the stock imagery to be a supplement to the design rather than the focus, and the human eye is always drawn to other people's faces. I also think it's a bit dishonest to use a photo of someone and imply they're a customer when really they're just a stock photo model. So be picky when you're choosing stock photos to use, and look out for something that's well composed and has nice texture to it, nice colors to use in the background and supplement your design. I hope you enjoyed the Stock Photography 101 guide. Please give this video a thumbs up if you did. I'm really keen to hear your thoughts on stock images as well, so leave them down below in the comments. I ran a poll on Twitter and 78% of the people who responded agreed with me that there is a time and a place for stock images, but there was definitely some strong opinions, so let's have a chat about that down below. If you want some nice stock images to use in any upcoming projects of your own, just head to graphicstock.com/YouTube or click the link down below in the description and you can get a free 7-day trial of their site. Remember that all the images on there are 100% royalty free, so when you download and use them you're not going to be breaking any copyright laws. I've actually been thinking about doing a video about design and copyright, so I don't know, if you've got questions about that, let me know down below as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!